Good morning. What a beautiful morning it is, so appropriately so that we can have a perfect day to take an action, as the chaplain said, that it is appropriate for us to do. I want to thank Anthony, Secretary Principi. We Italian Americans take great pride in each other's work, and I thank him for his generous introduction and for your service, Mr. Secretary, winning the Bronze Star for Valor in the Navy and earning respect for our nation's veterans as Secretary of Veterans Affairs. We're all very, very proud of you, and it is appropriate that you lead our presentation today. It's an honor to be here with Secretary Shinseki, a great leader of the Department of Veterans Affairs. He, too, a decorated soldier in his own right, firmly committed to the health, well-being, and future of all veterans. Thank you, Mr. Secretary Shinseki. I first met him in Bosnia, just outside of Sarajevo. We went to visit him there to see his leadership, his concern for our troops. Our subject then was troop protection, force protection, and that has always been your priority, as well as the security of the American people. I'd like to acknowledge and join the Secretary in acknowledging so many people who are responsible for making today possible, who also are so responsible for protecting the American people. Bobby Barrera, Chairman of the Board; Lois Pope, Co-founder and Chairman; Arthur Wilson and Mary, Co-founder and President; and all of the leaders of the Disabled Veterans Life Memorial Foundation, for your dedication to this cause and for your determination to do right by our wounded soldiers. I know that, I believe Gary Sinise, thank him for serving as the national spokesperson for this memorial. In doing so, and as his service to our country, always being there for our veterans, he has matched the brilliance of his celebrity with the dedication and passion, commitment to our veterans. Very generously, the Secretary referenced my family. 4 of my brothers were veterans, served in the military. When I was a girl, my father brought the Baltimore Orioles to Maryland, and they had to build a stadium, and when they built the stadium, what would they name it? There was all kinds of competition. But it was clear the consensus choice would be to call it Baltimore Memorial Stadium in honor of the service of our veterans, so that everyone who went there would always know that as we went forward, we did so with our veterans and those who lost their lives in their hearts. It said on that stadium, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds." Every memorial to our veterans shares that thought, and so too today. I want to acknowledge Chairman Mr. Rogers, soon-to-be chairman. I assume Mr. Rogers is here, and I want to acknowledge him. And also, I wanted to acknowledge those who made this legislation possible. In the Senate, Max Cleland and John McCain, bipartisan all the way. In the House, Sam Johnson, Congressman Sam Johnson, a decorated hero, all of them, and John Murtha. I'm sorry that Jack Murtha can't be around or here with us today, because this was such a high priority for him. There was no question but that the funding for this memorial would happen, and so I want to acknowledge all of their strong leadership. Because today, in breaking ground on the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial, we set down a marker in that same tradition to remember the true cost of war, as the Secretary said, and cost of war and conflict to our troops and their families. We pay tribute to the sacrifice of those who served and came home changed forever, but not their spirit, just physically, and gave a part of their lives abroad so that we could be safe at home. In a bipartisan way, we in Congress know that protecting the American people is our first responsibility, and our veterans do just that. And when they are disabled, we need to be there for them and make sure everyone remembers the sacrifice. President Kennedy, who was elected president 2 days ago, 50 years ago, this week, 50 years ago, said, "We will pay any price you know the rest of the quote. Pay any price. Many of you have paid more of a price than the rest of us. We need to acknowledge that in every way. Again, as the Secretary said, I'm very proud of some of the work that was done in the Congress for our veterans, but I want to make the additional point that when we did the new GI Bill and increased the timely and reliable funding for the VA, the veterans budget, passed the largest increase in veterans health care, invested billions of dollars for our veterans, these were priorities that the veterans brought to us. There are so many needs, and we would meet, we do meet on a regular basis to say, what are the priorities? Is it the disability, veterans disability tax, the concurrent receipt? Is it survivor benefits? What are the priorities? And those were our marching orders. So I thank my colleagues for their leadership, but more important than that, I thank the veterans community for making all of that possible under the leadership of President Barack Obama. Together, all of these accomplishments are bigger than anything since the original GI Bill in 1944. I think as we come together here, it is important to acknowledge that we still have some needs that we have to address. We will fight to ensure that veterans' health does not become privatized. That's very important for us, but again, we need your priorities to go forward. In the name of all veterans, past, present, and future, we break ground today to ensure that time does not dim the glory of their deeds, that time holds these deeds in the highest esteem, that flame at the center of the memorial, the flame of their deeds burns eternal. Very important. I myself, my uncle, Johnny D'Alessandro, died at the Battle of the Bulge. There wasn't a day that went by that my father didn't mourn the loss of his brother, but also take enormous pride in the sacrifice that his brother, our family, made for our country. And so the tributes to those who lost their lives continues. But today, we take a very specific step in recognizing those who are disabled and who still continue to contribute to the strength of America in so many ways. As we approach Veterans Day, we reaffirm our commitment to the patriotism, the courage, and service of all men and women in uniform, whether they're in the theater of battle or wherever they serve our country. Because of them, because of you, we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. In building this memorial, we are taking the critical step forward in fulfilling our pledge that just as our troops leave no one behind on the battlefield, when they come home, we leave no veteran behind. Thank you to all of you who are working to make this memorial a reality. God bless our veterans. God has truly blessed America with our veterans, and God bless America. Thank you all very much.